Hey everyone, we're back already. Look at that. We're actually like recording more things. I love reading break. Um, this is episode 163 of the Adventures Nazi Oddcast. I'm Devin. What are we talking about today, Victoria?
What aren't we talking about?
Most
Devin?
things.
That's true.
That's not true.
That's
Knowing
not
us,
true.
it's very not true.
We're gonna be talking about the start of album 66, like the first two episodes. So Much Ado About Jealousy, not Jealousy. We said it wrong like 60 times last episode.
At least twice, yeah. This Trial by Fire, right, is what this album is called?
Yeah.
I believe
it is.
Okay.
Wait, no, check.
It must be because that's the name of an album, but not a previous one. Yes, album 66, Trial by Fire, first two episodes, both written by Kathy Buchanan. Kathy double feature.
I could tell because they were really funny.
Yeah, I know. I was
thinking I was listening to Mulch, whatever.
No. Same Mulch story. Mulch Ado About Jealousy.
Same Mulch story.
Same
I
Mulch
don't know what
Ado.
I'm talking about. I was listening to Same Mulch Story last night, and I was
There's mulch in our walls, guys.
And shut up. And
we've got farmer infestation.
I was thinking I wish I kind of, part of me wishes I checked who wrote episodes going into them, but the other part's no, because then I'll have personal bias, and then hearing it at the end from Chris is probably the best way to go. But I was thinking I wonder if Kathy wrote this, because it was so funny that I was just it's gotta be Kathy, right? So.
Yeah, you don't normally get a lot of double same person in a row, but the first one was obviously Kathy, and when I was listening to the second one, I was it's not normally twice in a row, but this is definitely Kathy as well.
I want to thank Kathy for Jillian, because I love her so much, and I didn't think I would when she first came into the show for her first couple minutes. I thought she'd be not a bad character.
She definitely seemed like one who was going to be constantly
negative.
Exactly.
Yeah, but she is actually the best.
Yeah,
and I love her so much.
And they let her be the best too. It's I love her, and they actually treat her positively for it too.
It's
it seems like she would constantly be like Jillian seems so fun, but she's a negative role model because she's crazy and out of control. It's no, she's awesome. Everyone loves her, and it's a good thing.
It's like when we watched Wreck-It Ralph 2, and there was that one lady,
yeah,
and we thought she would be
Shank.
Shank, and we thought that she would be just portrayed really, really negatively, and everyone would hate her, but she was actually the best character in the movie, and we came out of it really loving her. And it's the same kind of thing with
I love
Jillian,
it when shows are
Jillian.
drinking their Respect Women juice.
Yeah, I've realized, I think I realized this with Gravity Falls, that my favorite trope breaking character is when they have the mean girl, and then they make her more complex and sometimes even eventually on the good guy's side. And there's so many different medias I've consumed since Gravity Falls awakened my love to this trait. Basically, Buffy does this, even though I've only watched the first season and a half of Buffy. Gravity Falls does this. Grisha kind of does this. A bunch of other things do it, and I love it so much. I love it when they take characters who you think are gonna suck and they make them the best characters.
What was the big one that people were comparing to Pacifica a lot? That wasn't Over the Garden Wall, because that doesn't compare in that way. But there was another one that people were this is really similar about you standing up to your parents and being no, I'm not continuing your legacy of horrendousness. I can't think of what it was.
I don't know. I can only think of Over the Garden Wall.
Because it was similar idea, but the characterization obviously was not. It was very different.
She's completely different from Lorna.
Yeah. Okay, we should start. Episode 856, season premiere, Much Ado About Jealousy, written by Kathy. What happens in this episode, Victoria?
So, in this episode, we got a lot of stuff going on.
There's a whole web, a very Shakespearean web.
As someone who really loves Much Ado About Nothing, I really adored this episode.
My favorite Shakespeare work.
It's my second favorite. My favorite is Cymbeline, but no one knows what it is.
But everyone knows it's your favorite, because this is like the fourth time you've talked about it, at least on the podcast.
It's a fairy tale mashup recycling wonderland. My jam. So in this episode we got so much going on. There's Jules, and she's not invited to a party that Valerie's throwing, but Buck is, and she gets really jealous, and then she decides she wants to make Buck.
Well, not jealous of the invitation, jealous that she thinks Buck is going to the party.
So she's just like, oh, what do I do? And then she's planning on, like, sitting in her room and just being sad and just thinking about how sad
the Connie
she
TM
is.
way.
And I was thinking, like, I feel so called out right now. and then Jillian comes in, and then she's like, why be sad when you can be happy and have fun stuff to do, and I'll even help you. You can hang out with me. And I was like, I wish everyone had a Jillian in their life.
But also, like, that everyone had a Penny, or a Connie.
Yeah.
A Penny, yes, but, like, a Connie was like, hey, you're sad? I just bought 2 gallons of ice cream. Let's watch some movies and binge eat ice cream on the couch. They're both amazing.
Nice. They're both amazing. I was just like, I love everyone in this episode. This episode was so good. All the character interaction. Thank you, Kathy. I love this episode so much. And
even though we all know the most relatable character in this episode is Penny.
And so then there's so much going on. This summary is gonna be really long. So Connie knows that Jules has been having a hard time, and she, like, prepared all these different, like, hangout things for them. But then Jules actually tells Connie that she's feeling a lot better since she started hanging out with Jillian, and Jillian started, like, doing all these fun things with her. And then Connie gets jealous that Jillian's kind of being a more respected big sister type figure than she is, and Jules spends more time with her. So then she tries to, like, get tickets, and she does, for this show, like, this rock show that Jules wanted to see, that she was going to take Buck to at the beginning, but then he didn't go. Also, using, like, Crisco in your hair is...
It was organic butter, not Crisco.
Whatever.
Crisco's like, not organic.
I was listening, I was like, that's the worst thing ever.
Yes, it is horrific.
That's, like, the most... You can imagine, like, the squelching noises. It's terrible.
Ugh.
If Connie actually, like, heard that, she would be like, I need to leave right now immediately. I need to leave the premises. And so then
that
Penny...
would be the thing that makes the word squick onomatopoeia.
Yeah. So
it's a good 2007 internet joke right there.
Penny finds out that Connie is, like, well, Penny thinks that Connie's best friend is now Jillian. So then Penny's like, what's she got that I don't have? And then she starts saying, she asks Wooten, and she's like, I mean, I only have a couple negative traits. And she's like, and he's like, yeah, if you don't list these 1,700 negative traits I'm gonna list. And I was like, Wooten, no. And then Penny was like, I'm a horrible person. And then she gets into the mix, and everyone's, like, trying and failing to do all this stuff. And then in the end, it's just like, everyone just needed to chill, because everything just, like, set itself right, because everyone still loves each other, and it was all a big misunderstanding. And I was like, this is so much ado about nothing. It's great.
And Buck was actually not going to the party.
And Buck gave Jules this really sweet gift that he was working on with Wooten. And it was really cute.
Book
it was really
of them
cute.
As superheroes.
It was so cute, which, need I remind you? You don't need reminding, but I'm just gonna say, that's what Wooten gave Penny as their wedding gift. So I guess this means they got married off screen.
Yeah, and I'm realizing, like, it's also, not only is it a really long chain, but it actually forms, like, a loop in the end. Not a symmetrical loop, but it's like, Wooten was not quite jealous, but talked about previously being jealous of Penny because of Devin, but Wooten wasn't jealous.
Oh my gosh, Devin was mentioned. That was great.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Wooten,
I was like, Devin's going to be really happy.
Wooten was not jealous of Penny, who is jealous of Connie, who is jealous of Jules, who is jealous of Buck, who is actually spending all his time with Wooten. And
this is how you do Shakespeare.
I was like, it feels very Midsummer's Night Dream, but I was like, is it really Much Ado About Nothing? And then I finally realized on the second listen through, because I kind of forgotten about the fact that, like, oh, Buck isn't actually going to the party he was working on. I was like, that's what makes it Much Ado About Nothing and not just generally Shakespearean, is the fact that all of this drama and all of these chains of misunderstanding was all based around Jules's jealousy over something that wasn't actually happening and over a deceit concerning someone that she liked who was actually doing something for her and not doing something against her that she thought because she was deceived. And that is very much the core of Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah,
and that's what
yesterday when you were like, I didn't really get the Much Ado vibes, I was like, are you? What?
Well, all I was getting was like, oh, there's like lots of chains of like, because it made me feel like very Midsummer's Night Dreams, like, oh, this person likes this person, but this person likes this person, this person likes this person, this person likes the first person kind of thing.
I mean, that's not exactly how Midsummer. It's like, because like both guys like the same girl, but there's always like, I think two guys liking one of the girls.
I thought it was a square that was all going in one direction. I haven't read Midsummer's Night's Dream. Is it kind of like a? It's like so it's more of a Don Quixote kind of thing.
Let me think. We
don't need this. Not really.
There's
apropos
like
to this.
Couple A and B. There's like a Disney version, so I'll just
let's just Victoria.
So Mickey and Minnie,
please.
Mickey and Minnie like each other. Donald likes Minnie. Daisy likes Donald. Minnie and Mickey aren't allowed to get married because of Mickey's class rank, and Minnie's supposed to get married to Donald, but she doesn't want to. So Mickey and Minnie go off to like get wed by a priest. So they're like in the woods, and they go to sleep.
Probably.
Goofy was Puck. So in the middle of the night, because Oberon, King of the Fairies, there's like this kid that Titania has, and she's spending all her time with the kid, and Oberon's like, I want that kid to love me more. And so he's like, Puck, I want you to make Titania fall in love with someone who really
so
sucks.
Buck is going to Valerie's party.
Bottom,
please, Victoria.
He's an actor.
The bit has gone on long enough. At first, when we heard Buck is going to Valerie's party, it was kind of weird, but it was like, I appreciate that Buck is trying to build bridges by going to Valerie's party, because I was like, I guess that's what's happening, and it is nice that he's trying to like kind of heal these relationships, and it turns out I was like, nah, screw Valerie.
I like that he's not trying to brush her off or be mean or anything like that, because that's very in character for him.
I do appreciate his diplomaticness,
really
and it is very
guy.
like Southern hospitality kind of thing.
But I like that, like, Valerie's character kind of walks this line where it's just like, we respect her, but we don't condone her actions. I really like that about her character, because it, like, plays into, like, the whole, like, oh, she's a great actress, so she gets all the good roles.
Oh, we forgot to say at the top, we're also doing
really
as much predictions as we can for 2019 AIOC, because there's only 8 titles out so far, including the 2 episodes that are out.
Valerie's like Sharpay.
Yes.
Because she, like, works really hard for what she gets, and she's really talented, but she's mean. So people, like, are...
but remember, like, Anger Mismanagement, where she, like, doesn't work hard for what she gets?
That's true. I won't say she works hard.
I feel like she's not as good as Sharpay is.
I feel like she doesn't work hard, but she's just naturally talented.
I feel like she's a lot more like...
Sharpay's an underrated character.
I feel like she's a lot more like Chloe Bourgeois than she is, like... Sharpay.
Yeah.
But she is somewhere in the middle.
I wanted Chloe to be like Pacifica, like she's actually real cool.
Yeah, I think that might have been what? Maybe?
No. That wasn't like Miraculous hadn't started back then. I wanted Chloe to be like that, but then they're just like, no, she actually...
But it was something that happened shortly after all the Pacifica drama.
All the time.
But yeah, no, it was not Chloe.
Was it something from Steven Universe?
No, that doesn't make sense.
I know, I was just trying to...
No, it wasn't. Buck. No, Penny. That's what I was talking about. Penny in this episode is
great.
excellent. She's the most relatable character. We learn a lot more about. I mean, I love when we hear about like Penny's weird habits, the habits of living with Penny. And we get some more of them when she was talking about singing operas at 5 a.m. to Wooten. She's like, and now you love that about me. It's like, tolerate. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's relatable.
I love how rose-tinted Penny and Wooten remembered their first meeting and the carnival, given that it was all in the middle of an entirely tied up in a massive international counterfeiting operation.
I really love it when they talk about their first meeting, because you go back and, like, she's barely, like, she is talking to Wooten, and they're like, oh, that's really cool, you like that thing. Anyway, Connie, about our counterfeit business, what do you think?
I'm still surprised that didn't play into it. All the talk about art forgery.
It was like a red herring.
I guess so.
Also, like, Penny with her talent of, like, she works in art gallery now, so, like,
Well, no, but I expected it, because we're talking about counterfeit money.
Herring.
Yeah, I guess.
That's how red herrings work.
I know. I guess I never really thought.
Stop complaining.
I never really thought about it as a red herring, just as much as a like setup that seemed like it was a setup and never went anywhere. But yeah, I guess it was just there to deceive me.
Because wasn't
I'm just
Penny
bad at
also
stories.
Originally like going to be a villain?
Yeah.
So like that's there too.
Yeah, I know.
So there's probably
that's why I always wondered, was it
that.
Supposed to be part of that, and then it got dropped because they decided
I think it was supposed
to keep
to be
Penny?
that. But then Katie wanted them to keep Penny, so
Which
they decided, which was a good decision. So they decided to make that a red herring.
Yeah,
is what I think happened. I like that now we have 2 female main characters ish. Julian isn't a main character yet, but like 2 female adult characters.
It's amazing.
Other than Connie. I like it. Renee doesn't count. She's not completely a character to me, honestly.
Even just having like one other than Connie. Even Penny. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Penny.
Yeah. If Penny ever leaves the show, I'll be so sad.
It's not going to happen. We'll not let it happen.
Katrina left the show for a long time. Oh yeah, Katrina's there too. But she's
not main enough. She barely ever appears.
Penny's more main than Katrina, which kind of makes me a little bit sad. I wish Katrina had like
as much to do as she used to.
Yeah, and also
which even then was still not enough.
I wish she had episodes that didn't relate to her teaching.
Yeah. And
didn't really include Eugene. Like, even if it's just, like, an episode with her and Buck bonding.
I know. We've talked about how we've never had an episode with Katrina and Buck without Eugene that wasn't in the Green Room Conspiracy.
No, be the best thing?
What?
An episode with Connie, Katrina, Penny, and Jillian, and they're having a girls' night, and something goes wrong and they have to stop a crime.
Oh, so good. Oh, that'd be.
But then it just turns out it wasn't a crime. It was just the guys checking in to see if they were okay.
Well, that would feel too much like Slumber Party.
Okay, never mind. They're actually stopping a crime.
Yes. Don't take this from them.
They're using their art and brains and
ice cream.
Jillian's throwing her jewelry at them.
Or she's plumbing or using her zoology.
Yeah, she has like so many talents. She's bird calling animals to swoop down and attack
Snow White
burglars.
in Shrek 3.
Yeah.
Shrek the Third.
And it starts playing the Pilgrim song or whatever. What's it called? Immigrant song. Just like in that scene in Shrek 3, except for the timing's wrong, so it doesn't do, like, the loud part at the beginning, and also she sings off time from the actual calling, and it's really noticeable when someone points it out to you, and then it ruins the whole scene. You're welcome, audience.
Okay, I didn't realize you were talking about Shrek. I was confused there.
No.
I thought you were going to say... Like, we've gotten episodes where it's like Connie and Eugene and Buck and Jules and, like, that same thing, but Katrina instead of Eugene and get their kind of, like, mother bonding over the kids stuff. Would be great as well.
That'd be great.
Just give us Katrina and Buck together as a duo
Katrina,
stuff. Where we get to see them together and not just Eugene's relationship with Buck.
I love her so much and I miss her whenever she's gone.
Speaking of amazing female role models.
Eugene gets to spend so much time with her, why can't we?
Amazing female role models. I I don't know if this was intentional or not. The fact that Jillian took Jules to laser tag to cheer her up exactly like
I noticed that.
Wooten did for Connie in Plan B Part 4.
That made me so happy. I was just like, it's canon that all you need to do to cheer up a Kendall is to take them to laser tag. And I was just
so happy.
When they're sad over a guy they liked, take them to laser tag.
Yeah.
And
whether it's because he's going to another girl's party or it's because he got assassinated in laser tag.
You know, a 1 or a 100.
Yeah. Whatever.
On a scale of 1 to 100, what happens to your Kendall love interest? How bad do they get got? That makes you have to go to laser tag.
Also, more callbacks. The fact that Connie was watching the same sappy, sad movie that her mom with eggs in eggshells.
That was so. There were so many good callbacks.
We'll always have Pueblo.
I was thinking about like the first time Connie saw it, and she was like, "This is dumb."
Yeah.
And I was really hoping that Jules would
need a bucket.
I was really hoping that Jules would walk in while Connie was watching it and be like, "What are you watching?" And then the last scene would be her and and Jillian and Connie all watching it, and they'd all be crying.
It is sad because it makes you think of June and how she's not around anymore.
Yeah, me too.
It's too bad we never got an episode with June and Jules and Connie.
Oh, I mean, that kind of is the point.
I know. But, yeah. So Penny's friend, Jealousy, keeps on kicking up. She's like, hey, just need to check in you and, make sure that you're being a good friend to Connie, just not as good of a friend as I am. Like, very codependent vibes. My favorite line in this whole episode...
Jillian Jealousy.
I meant Penny. My favorite line in this whole episode was very much at the end, where it's like, oh, no one can replace you, Jules. No one can replace you, Connie. And Penny's like, yeah, no one can replace me either. And I was like, Penny is a big mood in this episode. The fact that they're like, yeah, you and you, and then she just inserts herself and like really loud. Yeah, and like her tone, like there's very loud and awkward. Like
references in this episode.
He's like, yeah, no one can replace me either, guys. Right? It was very relatable.
And Peggy and Penny.
Skylar sisters.
I was gonna say something. I can't remember what it was. Darn it.
Penny was so good in this. I really like, and you brought this up multiple times.
I was gonna say Penny is in this episode. Just that one John Mulaney line is just like, college was an eternal game called "Do my friends hate me, or do I just need to
sleep more?"
Or do I just need to take a nap?
Yeah.
And like whenever, honestly, that line's really been helpful for me in my everyday life.
Yeah.
Because every time I'm just like, oh, everyone hates me. I'm just like, maybe I should take a nap. And then I always feel better.
Is that why you're always asleep?
Maybe. It's not. It's just because I'm always tired. But I have actually taken naps before because of that line.
It is a good way.
I felt a lot better
to get perspective on a thing. Speaking of everyone hating you, you've brought this up before. The scene so much where they're not afraid to show like the rough edges between Wooten and Penny's personality clashes.
That was good. That was very realistic. I really.
When he's like, I thought your flaws were this and this and this, and she's like, no, Wooten. Actually,
I was like sitting on the bus when I was listening to this episode, and I heard that part, and I was just like. Oh my gosh! I was like, well, that was a short marriage, wasn't it?
But no, like, I mean, it was funny, but I am really glad that they're not afraid to, like, show those clashes because it would be completely unrealistic to think that when you have a relationship between two such, like, super loud, extroverted, bombastic people that they're not going to clash on anything that doesn't perfectly line up. We've kind of seen that before, like, the episode with like
things.
The episode with the paintings and she was in the magazine and stuff. I can't remember what it was called. It was the season premiere 2 seasons ago.
This is why Penny and Wooten are my favorite relationship that we're really seeing in depth nowadays. Because like
you mean the only one that we're seeing in depth?
Yeah, pretty much. Like they're just written so well because they love each other a whole lot, but they had to like work through a lot of things to get there. And even now, they're not like they're not like together on everything. They do like bigger,
because that's
and
the
it's
thing.
so good because like we don't really get that much bickering, like post-marriage Eugene, Katrina. It was mostly like pre-marriage, like, hey,
except
wedding
for
ring!
when Eugene automated
like,
everything in their house and the business of business.
That was great. I forgot about that. And also like the haircut, but that was
the
really
door
an
is ajar. The
Eugene!
door is ajar.
Oh, that was a good episode.
Yeah, I think because the thing that I didn't really like about Penny and Wooten for a long time is that it was just like, oh, they're so immediately like grossly in love with each other and everything's like perfect and we're just both so crazy and zany and I'm completely identical, the same person on everything. We agree on everything, no matter how random. And it's just, you know, there's not a lot of hook in there when everything is the same. And so now that they're married and we get to kind of see increasingly like the differences between them as we zoom in more on things, as we zoom and enhance on the relationship, that's where we start to get the interesting meat.
Zoom, enhance.
Yeah.
Like, no, like perfect.
We also get to learn some more of Connie's idiosyncrasies, which are always fun because
oh my gosh.
we get to learn there are a lot of points in the show where we get to learn about Connie's really specific
like her fear
annoyances.
of staplers.
I always forget about her fear of staplers.
Okay.
But like, and she's like, "This is the way my hot chocolate has to be," and stuff like
Katie
that.
was
Always
so
checking
the
ice cream for freezer burns. 12 times a day, Miss Kendall.
Kathy, this episode was so good.
But yeah, the moist mucus scene was great.
Actually, like, going like this. I was, like, on the bus listening to it. I was like, no one look at me because I'm actually dying.
Ooh, the moist mucus is so moist.
I was, like, almost yelling. I was thinking, like, Connie needs to leave because I can't handle this.
And then Connie spends the next, 6 hours exfoliating her face raw.
I thought that, like, it would be harder for her, but it was actually harder for me. It was so good because I like was kind of laughing at, like, when Penny was saying all the stuff that bothered Connie. I was just like, oh, that's kind of silly because, like, that's not that big a deal. But then you hear the scene and you're like, no, Connie, me too. And also when Penny said the word, it was like, oh, she hates the word moist. And I sat there for a moment and I was like, you know what? I think I do too.
I know everyone always cites that as their least favorite word, but it really doesn't bother me.
It's not my least favorite word by any, like,
everyone's always like, ugh, I hate it so much. I really don't have a problem with that word.
I don't like it. I'd say it's not, like, fully negative. It's just, like, the more negative side of indifferent.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's negative leaning.
Yeah.
When they're talking about, like, the word mucus, like, the concept of the word mucus, it reminds me of one of the most mind-blowing things from my, like, language class, like my biomedical language class. There's a lot of crazy things I learned about what words mean that are words we normally use. But the craziest thing about a word that I already knew that wasn't just what it means is the fact that mucus, M-U-C-U-S, and mucus, M-U-C-O-U-S, are two different words. Like, mucus with a U-S is the noun, the thing.
It's only American.
No, it's
an American word only.
It's the opposite. Mucus US is the noun, like it is the liquid, the mucus, but mucus OUS is the adjective, like something is mucus. Like a mucus membrane, it's an adjective, and that's why it's OUS, because OUS is term for like describing things. And so mucus and mucus are two different words. One's the adjective noun and one's the noun. One's the adjective form, one's the noun form.
One's a noun, and one's also a noun.
I think that's interesting. Yeah, like said, it was a very shippy end, like with the Jules Buck. The whole episode, because they had the whole like boyfriend thing with Jillian at the beginning.
I was dying when Jillian at the end, she was just like, "Oh, you're her boyfriend." He was like, what? It's just like, my boy was a friend.
And then Jules didn't deny it.
I know, and Buck didn't deny it either. And I was like,
she was like, this is really sweet. And then she's like, oh, the boyfriend. Connie's like, excuse me, what? And she was like,
I'm sorry.
She didn't even say like, no, nothing. She was like, and that was like the end of the episode. And I was like,
anything. And I was like, canon?
It was like probably the shippiest Jules Buck episode since Legacy.
Probably. Where like they actually made out basically in the woods or whatever. But I've only listened to that episode like once.
It was that. I don't remember. It was like 2 years ago.
I don't remember. I feel like that episode was an acid dream, honestly, sometimes.
I know. Like we were saying earlier with Jillian, I was really glad that this episode did not give a false dichotomy about, like, Jules and Jillian had to, like, deal with emotions. Because I really could have seen that, because it's like, oh, Connie wants to, like, eat ice cream and cry at movies, and Jillian wanted the complete opposite of that, and I figured it would be painted as, like, whatever Connie wants by default for you as your authoritative figure is the good thing, which means whatever anyone else wants is the wrong choice. And it's like, I thought it was going to be like, Jules made the wrong choice. She shouldn't have indulged in Jillian's hedonism or whatever, but trust in your sister. But it's like, no, Jillian was completely valid, and you can choose joy and don't let others define how you're going to feel. And like, which is what she said, and it was great. And going out with your friends and trying new things are great ways to work through your feelings.
It was so good because it was just like, Jillian is what I needed at this point.
Yeah.
But this is what I need at this point.
Yes.
And both are good and valid, and I really love both of you. And I was like, I love both of them.
It was great, yeah. They're both valid and a very, like, Ecclesiastes kind of thing. Like, there's a season for both their methods.
This episode was so good.
I love
Jillian
we've probably talked about it before, but I love how consistently Connie is a terrible, like, health role model for Jules. Like, I'm glad that she didn't have to become...
Orange juice and cookie. When she said, like, I got something special for us, I was like, I swear, Connie, if it's orange juice and cookies again, I will die.
I'm so glad that she doesn't have to become, like, a complete robot stick in the mud in order to step into a parental role with Jules. But, like, beyond that, I find it so funny how it's fallen into this horrible dietary pattern with the cookies and orange juice and the binge-eating ice cream and stuff like that.
I'm so glad you never actually made us
I'm so sad I forgot, because I was going to do that, and I completely forgot when I was grocery shopping before we filmed that
Because
episode.
I 100% know what it would taste like. Because not only can I imagine it, I'm pretty sure I actually have done it before, and it's the worst thing in existence.
You did it in advance of the episode?
No, like when I was a dumb little kid.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean, like before the episode.
When my taste buds were much stronger and everything was much worse.
Oh, this is much worse.
It's like you have...
No, I can imagine it.
The wet cookie feel.
I can imagine it,
Which is
Victoria.
the worst thing ever, but the chocolate,
is so itchy
the orange juice just tastes bad in general.
It's so good.
And then it just tastes like barf, and it's the worst thing ever. So thank you for... I would actually probably be sick.
I also realized on the second listen through that this episode is a flip on the trend of the past few years about Connie's insecurities about Penny leaving her for Wooten. And then we get Penny's insecurities about Connie leaving her for a new roommate.
It's almost like everyone's always insecure.
I know, but we've only got this one-sided thing. We've talked about it a lot. So I thought it was interesting. I was like, oh, this is a flip on it, and that's cool. And I do like that it shows us, like, no, everyone is, like, a very grass is always greener. Everyone is always insecure about the relationships with everyone else. Yeah, this was a very good episode.
Do my friends hate me, or do I just need to go to sleep?
Also, I realized because of the whole, like, Shakespearean element that if this episode was pre-Second Hiatus, this episode absolutely would have shoehorned Edwin in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Somehow he would have been fit into this loop of, like, jealousy.
He would just, like, see everything that's going on, and he'd be like, Shakespeare! And then Shakespeare would run in with a folding chair, and then he would just snap it out, and then Edwin would put sunglasses on, and he'd just kick back, and he'd be like, this is real theater.
No, but he always gets pulled into him without realizing that he's in the plot of a Shakespeare play, like Hamlet and Welcome Home, Mr. Blackguard, and The Merchant of Odyssey and Merchant of Venice, yeah.
I forgot that Welcome Home, Mr. Blackguard was...
Yeah.
Hamlet.
Because that's why I always think that it's like this trend of like...
It's weird to me to call him Mr. Blackguard. I don't like it.
It is,
I don't like it.
It is bad. It's bad and wrong.
When you said Mr. Blackguard for a second, I was like, no, that's not right.
Yeah. This episode was great. It was an excellent premiere to the season.
I love them. I love all of them.
I'm gonna give this episode a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
It was
Here too.
It was great character development, a really good like loose Shakespearean adaptation. It had some excellent callbacks, especially like the eggshell stuff.
My favorite
and the
thing
Plan B stuff
was the laser tag because I almost cried. It was very. It made me very emotional.
It covered a great range of like different character relationships. All in one episode, like we got to see great Penny Wooten stuff, great Penny Connie stuff,
and this
Connie
was like,
Jewel stuff, Jillian Connie Jewel stuff, and Jules Buck stuff.
This was kind of like new stuff we hadn't seen from any of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen Jules get jealous before. But we haven't seen her kind of like withdraw into
I know what you were going for. Yeah, I got you.
Into herself. It's like double retreating and withdrawing.
But is it a double negative or is it a super negative?
It's a super negative.
Oh no!
She's just so sad. We haven't really seen this kind of stuff with her, and it's great. It's good. I love it, and just like. Everything's so good. I could write like a really long essay on every single character. Like Eugene isn't even in this episode, but he would be great if he was in it too. I meant to say Wooten. Wooten's great in this episode. He's such a sweetheart. He's helping Buck. I love it. Buck is so adorable, and I love him. He is baby money boy, and he's great. I love him. Jules. So great. Very relatable in this episode. Jillian. I want to be friends with Jillian. I want to go adventuring with her.
This is going to be a 2/3 album for Buck.
So much fun. This is the Buck album. This is the Money Boy album. This is his
it literally is, because they were like, this is the finale to the Green Ring Conspiracy.
Money Boy. Connie's great. Connie's portrayed positively.
Oh yeah, I missed
Jillian is portrayed positively. Penny's also great. And poor Penny.
There's another note in here that I accidentally skipped over. I really like how we get to see that over time Connie's getting used to living with Jules, and she is increasingly like listening to and learning about her interests, even if she doesn't understand them. Because at the first the band, she's like, the margarine's hair or whatever. And Jules is like, it's organic butter. And kind of like, whatever. And then she like, actually, she remembered that much at the beginning. And then she remembered the additional stuff Jules taught her. And then when she heard on the radio, she was like, that's the thing Jules wants. I'm going to engage in her interests. I remember because I was listening to the thing she told me earlier and got the question right.
That's one of the things I really love.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things I really love about Connie as a character is she's always like made out to be a way worse listener than she actually is, because you see with like Wit, even before she became a Christian, like when she would have like all those flashback episodes and she would actually is that
what Wit thinks? Is that why Wit only tells stories to Renee, because he thinks Connie doesn't listen?
Oh, that's sad. Like, she absorbs everything that he's saying to her.
His mind is as spongy as ever.
And she...
I think about that line so much.
And then when you see, like, her with Eugene, and that's the reason why she does so good in Truth, Trivia, and Trina, is because she, like, legitimately listens to everything he has to say. And you see that again when her and Eugene do, like, their trivia contest about each other. That, like, what's that again?
Sorry, wish I was thinking about the spongy lines.
Stop. The one with we've reviewed it before.
What happens in it?
It's the one with Penny, or no, Penny wasn't in the show yet, with Connie and Eugene, and they're doing the contest.
Hear me. Thank you.
I
brought it up earlier because I was talking about Connie's hot chocolate particularness.
And like now we get to see Penny, why do I keep on saying Penny? Connie, and how she listens to Jules and like picks up on all these things, and it's just like, oh, she cares about the people who are closest to her so much. And she also like listens to the kids, albeit a little bit less, but she still does. And
you would too if you worked at Wits End for that long.
I mean, I have worked at places with a bunch of kids. I can't remember everything about everyone.
Yeah. Since they're just screaming about Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a good episode. 5 out of 5.
I keep on seeing, like, what's that new dance move called?
Flossing?
Yeah, there were, like, so many kids flossing, and I was just like, I don't know what you're doing. I felt like now whenever I see people doing it, I'm like, oh, it's a dance move. And I felt like, I feel so old.
Like that Mabim Bam episode.
Because I was just seeing people dancing all the time, and I was just like, sit down.
That question on Mabim Bam was so funny.
Oh, Kingdom radically uplifted praise.
What?
Crumping? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the question about flossing, where Justin didn't realize that they're talking about dancing.
Oh.
And they were
what
like...
What question was that?
Justin. Yeah, it was so good. Adam. Great job, Kathy. Now we're going to talk about Same Old Story.
Another great Kathy episode. Spoilers, we liked it.
Yeah, Victoria was not enthused at the beginning, and then she was like, it's getting better, which is also what I thought. I was like, this is taking a turn.
The first, like, 2 minutes, I was just like, and then, like, the rest of it, I was just like, keep going.
Yes. Yeah. I was anticipating a low point for this episode.
But it just didn't come.
It was good.
It was good. I
was anticipating that this episode would be a low point, like, in the album.
I feel like the quality of this episode as a Parker family episode... It actually kind of felt like a Barkley or a Washington episode.
Well, I feel like, though, it's exclusively because it wasn't just... we'll talk about... Okay.
Yeah.
We'll cut here, and then we'll talk about Same Old Story.
It was good, is what we're getting at. Okay. Go cut, so we can talk about the next episode.
So, now we can talk about it. Same Old Story, episode 857, written by Kathy, once again. What happens, Victoria?
First thing, most important thing, only thing... that bothered me about the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Broomball's a real game. Broomball is...
Okay, we'll talk... Say what happened in the episode.
Okay, and then we'll get into the rules of Broomball. Unless it's just like a Canadian game.
It might be. I don't know. It's possible. But we'll say what happens in the episode first.
So... in this episode, we have the Parkers, and they kind of feel like stuck in a rut with... I don't know, just everything. But the thing they talk about most is meals.
How terrible it must be for them to have meals cooked for them every single day, to have a piping hot plate of a balanced dinner 7 days a week. Just they wait and they move to university, then they'll learn. They'll all learn.
Yeah, every time you come back for like home for any amount of time, you're just like, food, and it's there, and you're like, thank you.
Well, it's funny because, like, obviously I moved away from home like 2.5 years before Victoria did, 3 years before.
And every time he came home, he was just, like, scarfing down food. And
Victoria's like... And then, literally, like, a month after she moved away from home, she's like, I get it now. I thought you were crazy, and now I get it.
I get it completely. And so, the Parkers, they decide to play... Broomball, and they realize that their house is full of mold in the process in some parts. So Red,
or mulch.
Yeah, and mulch. So
depending on your spelling, it's spelled mulch in Canada.
They don't have mulch in the US, so they use mulch. So Red fixes that, and when he does, the Parkers all gotta like go to different places because no one has enough room for all of them.
No room for them at the inn.
Yeah. So Ava and David go stay with Lily Graham.
Mm-hmm. Who does not appear in this episode.
Who does not appear in the episode, unfortunately.
Artfully avoided.
I mean, there's like a lot of characters, so I get it. Matthew is staying with Lucia, and Camilla and Olivia are staying with Penny and Wooten. Which immediately I was just like, okay, so there's an entire episode about Wooten looking after kids and Connie looking after kids because Eugene and Katrina thought they weren't cool parents. And then the kids were so miserable by the end of it and felt really sick. And then it was just like, no, Eugene and Katrina are good. So like immediately when it was just like, oh, we're gonna have so much fun with you, I was like, they're gonna die. And then everyone's obviously miserable except for David and Ava, because those two poor souls apparently have not had a vacation ever since they had kids and haven't
Which is like 14
spent
years.
a day away from their children ever since their children were born. And I was just like, yeah, I can understand them wanting to have a couple days off, basically. Because at first because they were just like, oh man, it's so nice to not have the kids around them. And I was just like, yeah, okay. But then they're just like, it's been 17 years. And I was like, holy crap. Take all the time you need. Take a year if you need to, honestly. And then the kids are just like, they don't love us anymore. And I was just like, oh no. I was sad. And then they like have this ruse, which I was just like, okay, let's see how long it takes for this ruse to, like, let's see how long this takes. And immediately they see the kids and they're just like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you. And they're like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, we didn't have to sit through like a really long, prolonged, like, scene, which, yeah, I'm okay with that. And then they have like this nice camping moment at the end in their backyard, and then their house is fixed, and they're like, let's not camp because camping's awful, and they all run inside. And I was just like, same. But
I'm Ava wanting to camp with my family.
When they were like, they sold the tent, they're probably gonna sell us next, or whatever the dialogue was. I was just like, maybe they got a bigger tent. And then later it's just like, we got a bigger tent. And I was like, yes. It sounds like they got the tent that we have. They're just like, it's like a dual compartment.
I mean, that's pretty common to have a tent with 2 rooms.
I just pictured it as like our tent. When Devin was a little baby boy, he bought a tent, and we've used it like, I can count the number of times we've used it on one hand. Some of which were indoors.
Like half of which were indoors.
Half of which were indoors. We've used it twice at the cabin. I think we might have been in the backyard once.
I feel like that's correct.
So like 3 times outdoors. Oh wait, no, we went camping once.
Twice.
I only went camping with you guys once.
Was it twice or was it once?
You guys went twice, I went once, because I was at Pines or something like that. When we went camping, that was one of the worst experiences of my life. But I don't want to get into why.
Okay.
If you were me, you would have had a horrible time too. Okay, so I totally just got
That's the
really
episode,
stuck in my whole mind about how miserable that camping trip was. I'll explain to you why later. You will be on my side.
Okay, I'm sure I will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the kids are like, we're so tired of eating food and like living at home and having someone to do our laundry for us, so we just laze about all day. Find out that Jones has got a boat. I didn't realize they were that ritzy. I was like, maybe His Honorable Mr. Judge Jones is getting bankrolled under the table by a corrupt businessman. Getting his palms greased.
I really don't like David's new voice.
I do not.
He sounds like Jason, but not quite, like an Uncanny Valley Jason. And it makes me really uncomfortable. Every time he talks, I'm like, silence, body snatcher. What have you done with the real David Parker? And every time I was like sending Devin messages when I listened to this episode. My favorite one was like when I put, make the kids fight. And I had like spaces between all the letters and fight. I think I'm funny. And yeah, every time he said something to Ava, and Ava was just like, oh, David, I love you so much. I'm like, it's not him. Ava, watch out. No, Ava.
She has AirPods and she can't hear us.
She's gonna confess her love to him, and then the real David, who's been turned into a swan, will die.
She'll tell him that if she'll lose her strength if he cuts her hair.
But yeah. I'm not giving up on the David body snatcher jokes.
Oh no, this is the long play.
Yeah.
We learned that David has a brother named Dan.
Pinskadan! Pinsky!
I was like, at first, I was like,
Crumbs!
theoretically could have been a cousin, but if you got trapped inside the house with David during a blizzard for 3 days, they're probably brothers.
Wait, real quick before I forget, is Gabe back home?
What?
Is Gabe back? It's Monday.
Oh. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So, broom ball.
Okay.
I feel, now that you mention it, and I think about
up.
it is possible that it could be on the
Because for us, broom ball is kind of like hockey, but it's just indoors and you use a ball.
Well, it's hockey, but you have broom ball sticks, which are a specific thing. Are they the same as field hockey sticks, or are they different?
I think they're the same as field hockey sticks.
So the field hockey sticks, but they're rubber. I don't think field hockey sticks are rubber on the end. It's like a rubber thing shaped like that on the end, and you play with a ball.
We can put up a picture.
And you
There's
wear
a broom ball stick.
And you wear shoes instead of skates, but you're playing on ice.
I've only played broom ball. Okay, I was thinking of indoor.
You're thinking of floor hockey.
I was thinking of floor hockey. I've only played broom ball, I think 2 or 3 times. I wasn't very good at it. I'm not good on ice. I fall a lot.
Did not come within an inch of dying violently in grade 10 PE by getting hit in the throat, getting hit in the trachea with a broom ball stick.
I remember that. You almost got your throat cut open.
I did not come with it a literal inch from death for David to think that he invented broom ball.
That's broom ball.
Well, I put it up on the thing. Broom ball is a recreational ice game originating in Canada and played in certain other countries.
I guess not the US, maybe?
Also contested as being Swedish. Wait. What's this? United States. The American organization recognized by the IFBA as USA Broom Ball. They are responsible for sanctioning tournaments, training, and certifying officials, recognizing state governing bodies regarding broom ball. The states that currently have governing bodies recognized by USA Broom Ball include Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, New York, North Dakota, and Ohio. David, you have no excuse.
Here's usabroomball.com. We're being such jerks. I'm sorry.
I hope Kathy watches this so she knows what she did.
The next 2019 USA Broomball National Championships will be held April 12th to 14th in Fargo, North Dakota.
So there may still be tickets available, guys. Just go to the link in the description.
Support USA Broomball. I'm sorry, Kathy. I'm sorry.
The real question is, why do the Parkers have enough brooms to play this with all of them? Because it didn't sound like more than 2 of them were benched at once. Why do they own so many brooms?
When they started playing, and I was thinking, like, I'm trying so hard to remember, because I got broom ball mixed up with field hockey.
Yes, I understand.
For floor hockey or field hockey? Floor hockey. But, like, I was just thinking, like, I don't think you play it with actual brooms.
Nope.
Right? And I was thinking, like, it's
Well, I think because the sticks look like a broom
broom
if you cut off the bristles and you just had, like, the really tightly packed part of the of a
maybe
bristle broom.
they're just like, okay, we're gonna play it. Kids, distract your mother, and David gets the scissors, like shears, and he's
pruning shears.
All the bristles off the brooms.
Uh-huh.
That was the real reason why they had to leave the house. It was so dirty because all the brooms were destroyed, so they had to get like a cleaning crew.
Yeah.
To come in.
At first, I was like, maybe he's just explaining broom ball is, and he's like, we use Tupperware, and then all these
and I was just like, heathen.
This isn't broom ball.
I was just like. You keep saying every time they said broom ball, I was like, you keep saying that word. I don't think you know what it means.
Well, they kept saying it like they didn't know what it meant. Like they kept saying it with obvious like air quotations around it. They're like, oh yeah, we're playing broom ball. And I was like, stop saying it like it's not a real word.
I like the second David said broom ball, I sent Evan a message. I was like, broom ball is a real game. He was like, I know.
I was thinking it would be like if they're talking about like I invented this game with my brother. It's called football because you kick a shoe around. And
oh my god.
That's what it was like. I was so upset.
Oh my gosh. It should have been called like Tupperware hit by broom. I don't know. Just like something that isn't a thing. It's fine though.
Well, you're right, Victoria. That isn't a thing.
I mean, it is apparently now. It's called broom ball.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It doesn't it's not like it ruins the episode or anything. I bet.
No, it totally didn't ruin the episode for me. What are you talking about?
I mean, there probably are a lot of people who don't know that broom ball is a thing.
No, yeah,
so they're just gonna listen to this completely oblivious.
I absolutely didn't think until you brought it up that it was probably only a Canadian thing, and then it turns out it isn't. But
it's not.
It does sound. It does sound like
it could have been.
It is.
It could have been.
It is probably originating in Canada. We learned, or maybe Sweden, and it is,
or maybe both at the same time. But
maybe it's like
maybe
it's like calculus.
Yeah.
And they just came up with it at the same time.
And then they're just like, I have this cool thing to show you, Vladimir. Oh, me too, Sven. I don't know why the Canadian guy's named Vladimir. and then they show each other and they're just like, oh, great minds think alike.
Maybe he was Dukabor. Maybe that's why.
Maybe. That works. Let's go with that. Vladimir and Sven are our two Oddcast OCs. Uh-huh. We better use them a lot.
No, we will. Every episode.
Every episode.
And then Vladimir moved to Odyssey, and then that's what Bernard was talking about in Mum's the Word.
Sven is actually David's brother.
Yeah, and
but he
misunderstood it and heard as Dan.
He wrote a letter to David, and David's just like, I can't read. And then he's like, I'll just guess.
It was a typo because the S is next to the D on the keyboard, and then the DVAN or DVEN autocorrected to Dan on his birth certificate. Yeah.
Finskadan.
Krumslaw.
And
try again.
Finsky. Try a third. What's wrong with you?
What was I saying? So they find mold in the wall because they violently bash through the wall like they're in youth group. They bash a hole through the drywall.
That's very realistic. Playing an indoor sport and then breaking
in
their
living room, yeah.
If you're in a youth group.
Oh yeah, if you're in a youth group, yeah. Just turn corner elbow right through the drywall.
Do you think David just wanted new walls and he didn't know how to tell Ava? And he's like, hey guys, I invented this new sport. And he sees like a Tupperware on the counter. And he's like, and he sees a broom. He's like, broom. Ball, and he forgot what balls look like, so he said ball just because he can't think like me. And
I like the idea that he's like looking at random objects in the room, and he's like, broom ball, and they're like, Dad, broom ball is always like, I invented it called broom ball. It's like that joke in Things where people like try to come up with a fake name for themselves based on objects in the room, but it ends up being a real name that they come up with.
Mm-hmm. And David just hasn't been right since he ate that sandwich, or didn't rather. And they're like, Dad, you've changed, and your voice even sounds
I was going to say he inhaled the spores off the sandwich, but what if there were spores from the wall the whole time? Was that...
Spores in the wall got on the sandwich.
No, but what if the walls are infected because of the moldy sandwich? It got out of hand and it got so bad that it infected their entire house.
The spores in the wall infected him, and they're like alien spores.
Yeah.
So now he's like been taken over by an alien, and he was trying to get them to eat the sandwich, which would infect them. But now... The house was but then he accidentally knocked a hole in the wall, and before everyone could breathe in the spores and also be infected, they left the house. So now they've been destroyed, and it's just this alien trapped in David's body.
Now it's just gestating inside of David, like the Mesozoic mycelium.
And the thing is, it can't leave, and he can't spread the virus because it's all gone. So it's just this lost alien. He's like, I'm
the last of my kind.
I don't know what to do, and now he's just panicking.
He's gonna self-destruct. No, yeah.
TM.
It makes sense.
It's the only explanation.
It makes sense. So yeah, they find the mold in the wall, and they're like, oh dang. So everyone has to go to different houses. Matthew goes to Lucia, and it was like, oh cool, grandma time. It's just gonna be video games and candy.
Lucia's writing in this episode was the most realistic
Honestly, I know we already talked about the food thing, but I was like, Matthew, that sounds good. I would love some lentil and split pea soup right now.
Oh, no. But, like, honestly, it's so relatable going over to like a family member's or something like that, and you're like, party? And they're like, no party. And you're like, no. And they're like, I'm gonna cook all the meals you hate. And you're like, no.
Her best line was when she's like, oh, this is gonna be like terrible for you. And he's like, I always thought Mom was just exaggerating about how strict you are. And she's like, no. And it was just like the flattest delivery. It was really funny. And then even better than
the
that,
part that killed me and really stuck out to me because I was like, I think it spoke to how good Odyssey's writing has consistently been since it started, like since its inception. Was the moment when Lucia was in the card game and she was talking with that one lady, and they're just like, oh, kids these days, they just don't know like this or this or this, and they're being like really condescending, and it really stuck out to me because that's not something you get in Odyssey, really, because of like their MO of being like,
don't talk down to kids,
of not talking down to kids. And I was just like, I don't know if that also stuck out to you really a lot, but I was just thinking about that. I was like, this speaks to how good Odyssey is, because the only characters we really get
old people
that like speak down to kids are like villains, and even then they don't really do it much. Like they usually tend to like really kind of, they treat the kids respectfully because they want to con them, like Blackbird with Lucy pretty much, or just like Bill Kendall, like jerk characters, and like having characters who like
Phil the Flim Flam Man Phillips,
having just like a character who's just like, oh, children. I was just like, no. But like, I'm not saying it was bad in this episode. It worked really well, but I was just like, this makes me appreciate, like, not that I haven't always appreciated it,
especially when they're like
how
kids these days not liking it when we call them mean names.
Yeah. But it also felt really realistic.
Yeah,
because I was just like, because
that's what adults are actually like.
Yeah, I was like dying when I was listening to that. I was just like, oh, be nice to them, please.
And then Penny and Wooten were the stars of this episode.
Oh my gosh,
I can't imagine how
pizza, everything.
How exhausting it would be to live with Penny and Wooten.
I can't. I know what I want.
The star line of this episode was staying with Penny and Wooten is like sucking helium out of a balloon. I was like, very savage, but super accurate description. And I loved how Matthew had to get in his...
And just like, but that kills you. And she's like, yeah, I know.
I like how Matthew had to say it like both as like a comeback, but also the double meaning of like he's saying it as like a parental advisory quip so they can let the kids at home know that they're not condoning and that there's safety risks associated with over inhalation of helium. # for the kids.
Also, helium's going away, kids. # save helium. # save the bees. # bee movie.
Yeah.
I really liked Penny and Wooten in this episode. I want, once they have a kid, that kid either to be the most highest introverted energy in existence, to the point where they're vibrating so hard it's like clock stoppers when he's double stopped and he can move through walls. He's vibrating so hard.
It always annoyed me that he didn't get faster compared to them. It's just like, oh, I can phase through matter now.
That bothered me. I was like, they should be frozen too. Also, the first time I saw it, I was like,
you're not double fast, you can just phase through solids.
And you're also still going to be stuck in the room. So, like, how is this?
Yeah.
My dude, how did you think this was going to work for you?
Now I'm stuck in here for even longer.
He's like, wait, I'll press it another time. He just phases out of
deeper
reality and goes into the realm that Ant-Man ends up in at end of Ant-Man and Wasp.
Fall through the fourth dimension.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I guess I'm in Endgame now.
Yeah.
So I want the kid to either be that high energy that they're double level clock stoppers. Maybe they're just first level and the world stops around them. I don't know. Either that or they're completely emo and they just wear like all black and they don't like talking to people. Maybe they don't talk at all. Maybe Penny and Wooten learn sign language.
Interesting for an audio like drama.
ASL. I think that'd be great, honestly. I want a sassy ASL kid in Odyssey.
You'll totally know how sassy they are from all of the ASL that you can see them signing.
You can tell because you just hear them snap every now and then.
That's a good joke.
Thank you.
No, legit. I would love it if they had, like, a super quiet, introverted, bonus points if, like, a legitimately emo kid and they were, like, fully supportive of their child.
Yeah. It's like...
I would love that so much. It's so predictable, but, I love it so much. It's kind of
like... the first example I can think of, it's not a great one, though, is... if Sam's parents in Danny Phantom didn't suck, where it's just like they're very bright and colorful
like the commercial,
and vibrant.
The commercial where the dad paints the house black.
Her room looks like it's just like a pit of evil, basically. And I love Sam. I love Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom. He did it again after I left too.
Good.
It was so cute.
It was magical.
I was like, Victoria needs to hear this.
I love it. I love it when I just see random posts on Tumblr where it's just like someone's talking to someone else and they're just like, how old is this thing? And they're like 14. You're just like, yo, it was 14. Yo, this vacuum was 14 years old when it...
Yep. So, the kids...
You know what I hate? I just remembered that it's... but like, no, I just remembered that it's young Danny Phantom and not yo Danny Phantom.
Yeah.
Which is wrong, because if you listen to it, it does not sound like young at all. And would you agree with that?
I do.
It's not young. They're liars.
Kids having a great time. Parker parent... Or...
I ruined it. I kept on saying yo Danny Phantom. It's yo Danny Fenton. I'm a fake fan.
I say Danny Phantom.
No, that's not what his name is.
I haven't watched the show in a billion years.
I've watched it so many times.
The kids...
Move over, Shion. That show has the original hero that gets cloned and the clone's a girl who copies his powers.
The kids, as miserable of a time as they're having, equal to that is the magnitude of the great time that the parents are having. Parker parents, they take the win from the burn unit. Dang, it was downright depressing. Like, I get it, but wowzers, those kids must have been hurting, like, not understanding what...
Sad. Okay.
At first I was like, oh yeah, I see what's going to happen here, and that happened, I was like, that was really sad.
Yeah.
Because they were just like, oh. And I was like...
I was just like, they think their parents don't love them anymore.
And then I was also like, remember how Dad used to say that, like, every day?
Oh yeah, I was going to say that. I was just like, this is coming from someone who, like, our parents used to say the same thing all the time, and let me say...
It was really just Dad.
Yeah, it made me sad, and this was even more brutal, and I was like, I can't even imagine what you're feeling right now!
Yeah. And then the kids were like, we can get them back. We're gonna Sarah McLachlan infomercial them. Also, we wrote a manifesto.
Also, they were saying, like, Camilla and ponytails, no, you're just gonna find it so cute, and I was just like, don't do that to her. And then I thought about it, I was like, oh wait, that actually would really be cute. And I was just like, no, I'm part of the problem.
Be part of the solution, Victoria.
I'm trying.
I enjoyed this episode way more than I
expected. When David saw Camilla, he was like, oh, you look so cute.
It was really nice to get the Parkers mixed in with Penny and Wooten and Lucia, because I expected this. Most Parker episodes are like a bottle episode. It's just the five of them.
We were talking about that last night.
Yeah, but this not only mixed in Lucia, but Penny, Wooten, and it's nice to see them in relation with other ones and to, like, mix up dynamics more by bringing in other characters.
This felt a lot like, to me, a Barkley or Washington episode, which I don't think I've ever really gotten that vibe from a Parker episode before, so it was, like, really, really nice and refreshing. Because, like, the thing with the, like, Barkleys, and especially the Washingtons, was one of the things that we loved the most about them, especially episode-wise, were the episodes where they were just stuck with, like, say, the Rathbones, or the Rathbones, or the Rathbones, because it's so great.
Like when the Barkleys were stuck with the Rathbones, or when the Washingtons were stuck with the Rathbones.
Or just anyone stuck with the Rathbones.
Yeah, when the Strasburgs are stuck with the Rathbones.
I miss so much. But I guess the closest thing we can get to, like, that type of crazy energy is the Bassetts. So, like,
which is weird when you think about it.
Which is weird, but, like, it works out.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, and I never would have thought about it like that.
So, like, I think that's what I really liked about it, was I want more Bassett, Parker episodes.
Yeah.
Because this was really good. I really liked this episode. Everyone in this episode was great, except for that one lady who was mean to Matthew. Also, Lucy was just like, "Oh, I'm going to make you work because child labor laws," and I was like, "No."
Also, when she was like, "We're playing bridge. I won't tell you how to play it.
You'll
figure it out as we go."
I
was like, "That's the worst."
I was just like, on one hand, that's very cruel, and how dare you? But on the other hand, yeah, there are people who do this, and it sucks a whole lot. So, like, I can't say I couldn't see no one doing this.
That's what makes it terrible.
I know.
Tell me how to play the game. I won't remember it all, but I need some basis to figure it out.
Whenever I start playing, like, any game, and I'm not really, like, a big game player for games I don't understand, I usually only like playing games I know how to play, which makes it awful. No, I mean like card games and board games, which makes it awful to play games with me, especially when my friends want to do game nights because I'm terrible. I usually just like sit and watch them, and then I play with like the extra pieces.
Yeah, like, I don't know what's going on here.
One time, I made something weird. Anyway, I'll show a picture. Anyway, but yeah, I like having someone playing with me on my team. So I can at least fall back on them if I zone out or something like that, or I'm just bad at the game. I'm gonna find something unique.
Yeah, this was a really good start to the season from Kathy. Like, she got the first third of the season here, and it was a really strong start for this double feature.
It was really good. My friends were playing poker because it was like a go-away party / birthday party because like everyone was about to go away to college and stuff like that, and it was Gabe's birthday, so we just had like a big party, and so I didn't play poker because I'm not good at poker, and they weren't like betting with money or anything like that, but they just had a lot of poker chips.
You don't need to disclaim it for people.
I did anyway, and I just took all the spare poker chips and I made this. And I also made this. I tore up a napkin. At one point, my friend Jonathan, who wasn't really paying attention during the game, just kind of like looked over really casually, and they did a double take, and he was just like, "What is wrong with you?" And it was really fun.
What kind of question is that, Jonathan? You've never heard for your entire life.
Like, why are you like this? And I was just like, ha 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 ha, and I just spelling out the words, "Help me" with shredded bits of napkin. Yeah. You know
what that is that you made there, Victoria?
A terrified face screaming, "Help me."
It's a poker face.
That's my poker face.
Poker face.
Help me play. I don't know what I'm doing.
This episode, I feel like I should give it like a 4.8. It was a good episode.
It was a good episode.
Like, should be fine.
I'm gonna give it a
4.8 is fair. It's like 96%.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 4.7.
It's a good classic theme, like grass is always greener, and it's understandable that like, you know, we get stuck in routines and we find it boring, but also, and it is good to mix things up sometimes in small doses, but we also have to understand like why we have routines and why that helps keep us like grounded and sane, to have patterns in our lives and to appreciate our parents and also appreciate the things that our parents do for us and, you know, give them a break sometimes and understand why they may be stressed at having to deal with us.
Which I think is a pretty good lesson for kids.
Yeah. And it was, you know, I enjoyed the plot. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed Lucia and Penny and Wootenall very much. Just everything that Penny and Woon were doing. Like, all of the weird pizzas, and then they're like, we're doing kickboxing class, and then pottery, and then we're at the roller derby.
Kickboxing, I was just like, make the children fight.
But also I want to hear this.
Yeah, when they were
I thought you were talking about broomball.
No, they said like kickboxing, I was like, make them fight. When they were just like, oh yeah, we have like a little league team or whatever, and I was just like, oh no. And then they're just like, yeah, it's a bunch of 10-year-olds, and I was like, okay. hopefully that's... And they're like, and they really like hitting you with the sticks. I was like, oh no! Which, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, good episode.
I've worked with 10-year-old boys before. I don't let them have sticks.
It's wise. All right, should we move on to the end?
Yeah.
All right, time to talk about our prediction. There's only 8 episode titles out so far. We'll just get to it. 2019 AIOC predictions. Ike. I meant to say Eco. I said Ike. That's the wrong conjugation.
Too late.
Bad.
Too late.
Devin's bad at Japanese.
Too late.
Okay. AIOC 2019 predictions. This is the first time. I think for last year, if we tried to do this at the beginning of the year, they didn't have all the episode titles out yet, and they did end up changing them anyways, but it took us so many months into the year to do it that they finally had all the titles out. This time, we were not so fortunate. There's only 8 titles out now, but hey, we're going to do it anyways. We'll take what we got, because it's like, hey, it's not like these episodes really
reading the titles.
Matter that much anyways. It's okay. You can read them.
Cover them up.
Not much to cover here, really. A short, mostly meaningless description, 8 episode titles, 2 of which we already know because of the episodes that are already out, but it's really just one title. So, here's the description from AI Wiki. As we enter Season 6, get ready for a journey that has something for everyone, from historical dramas and imagination station adventures to kids' radio fables and BTV sketches. We'll even enter someone's mind. Listen for special ministry stories inspired by the power of camp and Wycliffe Bible translators.
I started really subtly, just like, that word's been worked into my vocab. Just really, it's like wormed its way into my mind. I was reading the new Grisham book last night, and there was just like so many different parts where like there's this one character who's like morphing in all these different things. I was like, gross, 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 and I was like,
ew.
I was like yelling it. I was like, oh, gross, oh. Ew,
every
gross.
time I watch literally any Ava Rabo video, I'm like, I don't say ew enough in my life. I should use ew more.
Every time Miles says ew, it's like that added 10 years to my life.
I know.
I love
him. Most of this is kind of like meaningless. Well, enter someone's mind is the only really kind of descriptive thing, and even still, it doesn't say that much.
That's me every time I write about a character. I was like, let's enter my mind and
the most
things.
meaningful thing here is that we learned 2 ministries. I should have looked up what the Power of Camp is. I know what Wycliffe Bible translators are. I'm actually a huge fan of their ministry.
It's about musicals. Power.
I was gonna say that's what I was gonna say. I stole my joke.
You stole my joke.
Yeah. That was my best guess. I'm like, it's probably just about like how cheesy we can all be.
They serve pizza.
Wycliffe Bible Translators is a really cool translational linguistics organization. Their Canadian headquarters is like an hour and a half here, and I got like a special lecture thing from them at UCM one time. It was like the one moment like post elementary school where I've had a moment of seriously considering I'm like, that is a totally different field from what I'm in that I could absolutely do instead of science. And they're talking about
But you didn't.
And this was in 5th year.
That would have been bad.
that they're talking about it.
Hey, Mom, Dad, I'm going back to school.
Yeah. They're super cool organization. Obviously, as you can guess from the name, they go into places and they learn previously untranslated languages and translate the Bible into it. But beyond the general kind of stuff, there's a lot of really, really cool things on cultural levels that I really like, because they put a lot of emphasis on the cultural importance of language, on understanding when we come, we are here to help understand your language and for the purpose of preserving your culture, not for the purpose of overriding your culture or erasing it. We want to make sure first and foremost that we are preserving and protecting your language from being erased from history, and making sure to protect your culture.
What do they do with there's certain things in the Bible that they don't have a word for in their language?
Well, that's what usually happens, and that's how you have to understand their culture. It's not just about learning their language. You have to understand their traditions and their history. Yeah, it's the most complex form of localization. And they talked a lot about...
See, that's why I like English dubs. Because I appreciate them, unlike you.
But I get no, but then I get to understand more about Japanese culture by understanding what those things are and like how the localization happened. It's like, oh, that's different, but then I get to understand.
My Nakama, you jerk! That's never gonna change. Ore, sick of your crap, Sasuke.
Watashi out of here. No, but yeah, there's a huge focus on that, and it's great because so much of the history of like missions work and evangelicalism has been about like bulldozing over other people's cultures, and language is such a huge part of culture, and language in and of itself carries so much value to a culture, and they're like really appreciating that. I have this bookmark from them that's like the Last Supper, but it's Jesus and then like people from all different cultures and races and stuff. And on the back of the bookmark, it says like, what language would Jesus speak to these people in? And the answer is whatever language they spoke. And it's like, Jesus will not make you speak in, all in one language or in the language that he wants to communicate to you. And he will speak to you in your own language because that is your language, the language of both your tongue. But I think they said the word they had instead of like your mother tongue is like your heart language. That's the language that you like think in and feel in, and that like your soul is in, and the importance of being able to access scripture, not being filtered through a layer of like a different language that you don't understand as well. And it's just, they had a really good like appreciation for the value of language and the value of other people's cultures and respecting that through their ministry. And I thought that was like super, super cool. So I'm excited for that. So episode titles. The two that are out so far for this year are In a Sun-Scorched Land, Parts 1 and 2. I've seen the thumbnail, but I do not remember it, and I've not seen the description.
I've seen the thumbnail, I haven't seen the description.
I assume it takes place somewhere else, maybe in the Middle East.
Do you want me to say?
Well, I've seen the thumbnail. I think it was Eugene in the thumbnail.
I can't remember who's in the thumbnail. It's probably Eugene.
I think it was modern day.
It's modern day.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They're somewhere on ministry.
They're somewhere, yes.
I'm guessing that these two ministries are within the episodes we have.
Yes.
So we can probably.
Yes, I can already
do a little guess.
It's pretty.
Lifted out of context. I might be able to guess that one actually. Anyway, Let's go through in order.
Yes, that's what I was trying to do.
In a Sun-Scorched Land, that one is
very vague. His title translation: this episode takes place outside of Odyssey, somewhere hot.
This episode takes place on the sun. We finally made it, guys.
Yes. It's on Mercury. Now, it's probably somewhere in Africa or the Middle East. Possibly Australia.
I don't think it's Australia.
I doubt it. Yeah, somewhere deserty. I think there's adobe buildings in the background.
I don't remember. We got BTV episode.
Yes. I kept on thinking, I was like, oh, they forgot to update because this is one that's in this album. But
they got the title right.
Yes.
They did the title right.
They did.
What was the bad one? It was just...
To Tell the Truth.
I
know.
Why wasn't it BTV Truth?
I know. It's equally as descriptive. Unlike BTV Redeeming the Season would not work as anything else.
No.
But BTV To Tell the Truth could absolutely have just been truth.
Also, I feel like it means more just being truth.
Yes.
And To Tell the Truth is so clunky.
It's so clunky.
It's, I want them to go back and
I know.
Change it.
I want them to
so it's not that anymore.
The only time they've ever...
It stops being bad.
The only time they've ever retconned an episode title is Passages, Fletcher's Rebellion.
That's not true.
Well, like, way after the fact, I mean.
Oh. Wait, why did they... Oh, right, it was just Passages?
Yeah.
Before? Yeah, that makes sense.
And then, remember, they also talked about how they thought about retconning Fifth House on the Left Part 2 to being 6 on the Richter scale.
That would have been so good. I wish they did.
But then they're like, no, we already made it. We'll just leave it be.
I wish they did, though.
I know.
It's just...
I mean,
it does maybe...
It can be that in your mind. If you want, just like some people took like the Green Ring conspiracy And they came up with like
them.
individual titles for all of them.
Yeah. But then it's just like, okay, now do it for Ties That Bind. And it's just like, that's so many episodes to rename. And it's hard to rename. It's hard to name things.
It is hard to name things. And I feel like most of the...
maybe I should just cut them
for the most part.
But BTV Truth is so much better.
Especially for stuff like Green Room Conspiracy, like most of the episode title names are going to be kind of meaningless to tell an episode apart from another.
I mean, the thing with Novacom is it's really hard for me to tell, like, remember.
It's even worse for Darkness Before Dawn.
Oh my gosh, Darkness Before Dawn. Every
Black
episode
Clouds,
is
Gathering
like
Thunder.
the only one.
Checkmate, Another Move, Hard Losses.
The only ones that I just like can see.
Yes, I get it. You're all James Bond movies.
And I 100% can list like every event that happens in it is like, the first one about like a little
Small
credit
Fire.
Please. No, a little credit please, because like
that doesn't count.
It's still in the album.
That's in the album. It's not.
It counts. It's in the album. That one's easy. That one's really easy. Small Fires.
Little Pools.
Little Pools is easy.
Yes.
And The Time Has Come.
Yes.
And those are like the only ones.
And like also even the last two titles are basically the same title. They're both like this is the end.
I also get some of the events mixed up in the order between those two episodes.
Uh-huh.
With those other three, it's just The Time Has Come is a very bottle episode.
Yes.
So that's what makes it easy.
Well, no, yeah, I think we all
like,
get that.
It's the most famous in that album, so yeah.
It's just like in album 38, the easiest ones obviously is like Under the Influence.
Yeah.
It's like the Box of Miracles is the one where the Nova Box first appears. That's easy. Sheep's Clothing is the first one with like Monica in it. That's
not the first one with Monica.
Okay.
But that's like the one where you find out that she's sketchy and stuff.
See, yeah, and then like Exit as but apart
Monica's
from that,
already there for, like,
it's also all like together.
I know like my favorites basically, which like is Sheep's Clothing,
Under the Influence, Exit.
One of my favorites that I can just like casually listen to and not have to be like, I need to listen to all of Novacom right now, is the ones I can casually listen to are Sheep's Clothing, because I really love Monica and Jason.
About that.
Monica needs to come back, guys. And the one with Connie and Mitch's sister, which is a very good one, but I forget what it's called sometimes. So sometimes I just have to like scrub through multiple episodes
I like know
to
which
find
one
it is. If I saw an episode list, I might.
It's like The Path or something. No, the third one is the one.
Twisted Pathways?
Twisted Pathways is the third episode, right? Down.
Yeah. The Unraveling?
Oh, sorry, Black Veil. Forgot about Black Veil. Yeah, Twisted Pathway I meant is the next one after the Black Veil.
Is it The Unraveling?
I think it's The Unraveling.
Or is it Exceptional Circumstances?
I think it's The Unraveling.
I mean, we can't play copyright, but
we
can't check.
But if you want to know, it's the same episode as the most intense scene in Novacom. If you want to know what the top 10 of those are, we made an episode on that like 5 years ago.
You are shameless.
Yeah. Okay, so BTV Idolatry, which I keep forgetting is different than the next episode in album 66, which is BTV Trinity.
I miss Stories by Bernard.
So do I. So we have 2 BTV episodes coming up. BTV Idolatry. What do you think? What kind of stories are we going to get in that, Victoria?
About idolatry.
I imagine
we're probably going to get the Golden Calf.
I was going to say most quintessential is going to be some like Exodus chapter like 21.
Yes, it is the one with Mitch's sister.
The Unraveling?
Yes.
I was right.
We were both right.
So, yes, Golden Calf. What else do you think we'll get in there? There'll probably be some stuff where it's like not obviously about idolatry because they're trying to like...
When they're just like doing the static and they're going between like different... Oh wait, no, that's the Golden Calf. Never mind. I was going to say like they're going to have... like they're just going to list the commandment, but that'd just be in the Golden Calf anyway, so they don't gotta do that.
They'll still say the verse in there.
Yeah. They're probably going to have
that's a whole chapter before.
Just like cutting back to a story, just like an original story.
I know, but
I don't. The original story might be the core thing instead of the Golden Calf.
No, it will be.
And the Golden Calf might just be like cut around it. a little bit and just like, hey, we're gonna do an update on how these people are. Oh, it's going very badly.
Oh, now Moses is making them drink the gold. Oh, the ground is opened up then.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
And now they've made a wit out of chocolate.
They can, you know what they can do? They can just periodically cut back to
clips of Vital Minds.
No, wait, yeah.
I was gonna think. I was like, is there a way they could adapt the plot of that episode into
Wit.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna bring Connie on and like, hey Connie. Hey Connie.
I mean,
hey Connie. Remember this?
I mean, listen though.
Hey Eugene, you were there too.
That is a half episode. If that was the main story,
exactly, that's what I was thinking.
They could put the entire episode into it and just have that be the main story.
Hey Wit. Wit. Why do you sound so different, Wit? Hey Wit. hey, can we? No, you can't. You know I'm talking.
All for the guest.
Bim Bam.
I kind of stopped listening because I was trying to get back.
The one Disneyland bit. We're just like, hey
Griffin, I'm gonna kill your kid.
There's like no smoking on the.
Oh yeah, can we vape? Hey kid, can we vape?
No, you can't. It was. I was paralyzed in fear for the next half an hour.
The last episode I listened to, the last old one I listened to, they were like, we've never been to Disneyland, only Disney World. And I was like...
Shoulder shimmy.
Yeah.
The mom shoulder shimmy. And Tigger comes out of the pit and he says, hey Griffin, I'm gonna kill your son!
All for the guest.
This is just the Lumiere singing.
Yeah.
But it's like the Taz versions where they try to murder you.
Or it's like about Vine and doing things on a dare. It's like... Ooh. I mean, in reality, it's going to be like... It's going to be like the one that we just had about like...
having a guest over and they have to be really polite and they don't want to.
Well, it's like the one we were just talking about Penny Wooten, about like, hey, love yourself. And it was the one with Connie, and she had shared the art studio about like being so self-sacrificing that you're like harming yourself. And it's like, hey, self-care is important too.
Do you think they're going to go back to Camp Wadanut?
That would be cool. I doubt it, because it's going to be tied into that ministry.
Yeah, but what if they did?
But then that would mean that Whit would have had to sold the camp.
Sold the camp.
Yeah.
He sold.
He don't would sold the camp.
The news comes in. Is Whit done
Wood
sold camp?
Why would you ask us, an Odyssey blog, this?
The mystery, his bad rumor, John Whitaker Avery is sold camp? No one knows. Even fans Wits End, kids who go there, don't know. They ask the question about his bad rumor. Does Wit sold camp?
You remember that a lot better than I do.
I've listened to it so many times.
Clearly. I thought you were asking about does Jake Gyllenhaal is gay. I thought that's what the reference you were making at first.
No, I actually went on if you look at my tag history on Tumblr Mobile from last week, actually just a couple days ago, it just says, does Bruno Mars is gay? So I was looking at the tag. Because it's really funny.
So
it's even funnier in like retrospect now.
Between all for the guest, yeah, I think it's going to be like, hey, you have a guest over and you were just giving so hard for your guest that you were like damaging yourself in the process.
Wait. So does Wit sold camp? I don't know. Why are you asking me? Can you read anything from this article? You're not to link the video now. You know that, right? Probably.
You have to send me a link and I'll link it.
I will.
Okay. You can decide on which clip of it you want.
I will. I'll probably just do the animatic. Okay.
Between Camp and Hard Place is going to be the power of Camp, which, yeah, maybe it's just the sequel. Maybe it's the next year of Camp California.
The camp?
Mm-hmm.
The leader.
Yes.
Is Edwin. Working on all those narrative levels.
We have had a lot of good double meaning titles. Shakespeare is the hard place.
We're going to talk about the next episode now.
Lifted out of context is obviously the Wycliffe Bible
It's an argument that Shakespeare and Edwin get into.
Vis-a-vis the previous episode.
Yeah.
Lifted out of context, yeah, it's clearly going to be about, like, understanding, like, hermeneutics and translating the Bible and the importance of, like, understanding the context and historical meaning and cultural history regarding, and, like, how difficult it is to translate the Bible and understanding
just
it and
gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna scan it, and they were like, no, don't scan it. It's like, I'm gonna scan it, and they're like, no,
I'm gonna do it.
Don't scan it. Take every thought captive. That is a very intriguing title, and I like it.
Assume it's just like, hey, don't think about dirty things, kids. Whatever's pure holy, don't think about that TV, Allison. Because Allison is coming back because the camp episode.
Oh, okay. She becomes a theater major.
Yes.
Actually,
that makes sense.
No,
she's an actress.
She'd be old now because, like, Davy's old. Davy can be in the episode.
But then that wouldn't make sense. Allison
but,
had the whole
movies. He's movies.
Yeah. And Allison is an actress.
Davy and Allison got married.
She's an actress, and she's in his movies because she loves TV so much. But she learned at Camp One Nut how to take every thought captive, and she was a guest leader at the camp, and now she's come back 2 episodes later to talk about the lesson that Connie taught her. Now that she's older than Connie.
Take Every Thought Captive is the sequel to Inside Out, where all of them get kidnapped.
Yeah, I mean, they're not thoughts, they're emotions, Victoria.
I'm sorry.
This title is referencing a specific verse, which is different than the one Allison gave, but it's the same concept, yeah. It's like, what, take every thought captive and make them all work for Jesus. Paraphrasing.
I didn't know that.
Paraphrasing the verse. I
want to stop talking about this one, talk about the next one.
Yes. Oh, wait, I think I did see Take Every Thought Captive is about Wit and Valerie, I think is what I saw, and that's why I was like, shield my eyes.
That sounds amazing!
Valerie's gonna kidnap thoughts, and there's probably the one that's about entering someone's mind. Entering someone's minds. They're gonna enter Valerie's mind. We're gonna go inside her inside out mind.
The one where we enter someone's mind definitely isn't the world of Widodonia or whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely not that one where a character's name is in the title.
It's Victoria, you don't think Take Every Thought Captive is about going inside someone's mind?
It's a 2-parter.
Oh, I see. It's one of the 2 parts with different titles.
Yeah.
No way out.
We just talked about this.
Yes.
So.
We did.
Take Every Thought Captive is the process of getting there. The world of Widonia is like when you open the door and you realize you're in the world of Oz and now everything's okay. The one about Valerie's mind is the world of Widonia, and Take Every Thought Captive is Wit's mind. Got you people who thought, you Devin and Victoria thought you knew it was going to happen, but we're on to you.
Whenever I write down these episode titles and there's like, most of them have descriptions on AIOO Wiki, and I'm trying my best to see and transcribe the episode titles without seeing what's going on in the description. And when I saw the title, The World of Wittonia, I was like, I cannot let myself see the description for this episode. I cannot have any guesses as to what this is going to be about.
I know the things I want from this episode, but I feel
Please share. Please jinx it.
I won't get them. No, I want them so bad. I feel like it's so delicate.
No, but when you say things, they happen.
If I say it, it'll be like an icicle falls on me and impales my throat, and it just won't happen.
You have to Final Destination, Victoria.
True.
Everything you say in predictions come true.
I'll die.
But it'll be worth it.
But that means Edwin's coming back.
Which would be good. He was just.
I miss him.
He was just in Pinocchio.
Yeah.
You were just in it 3 years ago.
Take Every Thought Captive is when Zoe kidnaps Jay and takes his thoughts captive, so he stops harassing her.
With her mind erasing.
With her mind erasing beams. And I'm very proud of her.
Good for her.
Good for her. I really want the world of Widonia to be...
The world ends with Widonia.
A very, very, very long time coming sequel to An Act of Nobility.
I honestly thought of an act of nobility.
It won't happen though, because it's not even called that, and that'd be weird if it was.
Would have been a little on the nose.
But,
I don't know who this guy was, but he became the king of Wittonia.
But it totally wasn't a story about me.
He definitely didn't rename the country to Wittonia after himself. He
got crowned. He's like, you didn't change anything, did you? No, of course not.
Nope.
Thanks, James. James! Too late, I've already left the country.
I think he said his last name was Armor.
Did you lie to me? Have you been a fake person this whole... Have you been impersonating a person impersonating me?
What if James Armour is his real name and John Avery Whittaker is his stolen identity?
He's been Jason Bourne. He's just like, he's under a fake name so no one can find him.
It's not like we know his dad and his sister.
He changed the name to Wittonia, so he had to leave immediately right now before people caught him.
What if he changed his name after the country that he was a king of? It's like you get your royal name, just like Queen Elizabeth.
What if it was called that the whole time, and then he said his name was Whit, and they're like, guess where you're the king now, and that was revisionist history that he was spreading an act of nobility.
What political intrigue! I have such high expectations for this episode now.
If you listen to the frequencies in the music box number, you realize it's actually Morse code, and if you transcribe that using several different codes that were used in Gravity Falls, and you do it backwards, and you add in all the vowels like Jason and Tasha did, you'll see that everything's so
Alright, that has been Maury's portion of the episode.
I want Maury in an OIC episode. Have we had that?
No.
I want him in an OIC
Maybe that's what the
episode.
world of Wittonia is about.
He mindscapes Wit. He jacks Wit's mind, and he takes over Wit.
He jacks his mindscape.
Damn it! Devin! Watching how Ravel's ruining me.
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I had an idea!
Did you now? I didn't realize.
I'm crying. I almost forgot what it was.
Greatest tragedies.
Maury is an alien.
Of course.
He's the one who made the spores.
I was going to say that earlier, and then you said something else and made me forget. I was like, there was something else I was going to say, and I forgot, and that's what it was.
Over the world.
I was going to say that Maury is going to be the one who has to rise and stop the alien invasion.
Devin, but he planted it, so it makes him look like he's in charge. The thing is, with Olivia and Matthew, the political thing at the school, he's manipulating them. Now he's taken over their father. He's manipulating them more. He's gonna get those spores in Wit, and he's gonna take over his mind.
He's gonna take every thought captive.
He becomes Wit. He's actually,
he's gonna open the amusement park.
The Valeyard in Doctor Who, he's the Valeyard. So, like, he's Nega Wit, and he's gonna take over Wit, and he's gonna rename the world of Wittonia, and he's gonna become a dictator.
Why do you keep saying it with the D?
Because I can't talk.
He's gonna be like Dicrocelium dendriticum, and he's gonna control Wit's mind to open an amusement park for children, and he's going to sell food products that are full of the spores from the Parker's household.
It's going to be like the cat flu in Escape to Tomorrow!
Is Escape to or from tomorrow?
From Escape from Tomorrow, because it's like leaving the park.
I was going to say, Escape to Tomorrow is just called sleeping.
I have such good ideas. Anyway, since everything I say becomes
and now it has to happen.
Now,
self-fulfilling prophecy.
It has to happen.
I love how when you have like a revelation, there's a literal dopamine rush that comes with it.
In you and in me.
Together. Yeah. With our fungal infection synced minds.
Gross. Ew. Ew.
Ew.
Ew.
Ew.
Ew.
Blueberries.
And in a very robotic voice, spore-infected Matthew and Olivia say, "Thank you for raising me."
You're my dad. Thank you for raising me. And that's all the episode titles we have so far.
That's all the energy I have.
Yeah, I'm exhausted also because I haven't eaten yet today, and it's 3 p.m.
A well of energy.
And I woke up.
That inhalation I did literally sucked out all of
me
the
too.
energy.
When I breathe in, it was like dopamine in, energy out, which isn't how you think that works. I actually woke up before 7
I think you were saying
a.m.
I'm woke, and that was gonna be the end of the sentence.
I woke up before 7 a.m. this morning. It's now 3 p.m. I've not eaten anything yet today. I'm so hungry.
Why haven't you eaten? What does pigeons mean?
Wait, you haven't got to the pigeons yet?
I don't know. Probably. What does pigeons mean?
That's how many pigeons I caught. I caught all of them.
You can't. What kind of monster are you?
It seems more violent than it is narratively. In terms of game mechanics, it comes across
People
as
say that about video games a lot.
Incredibly violent for birds that I'm trying to rescue.
Do you like web
Yes.
a pigeon from the sky?
Yes, with like L1 R1 web them.
Why didn't that happen in Mary Poppins Returns?
So
feed the birds.
So that is all for this time. Next time we are talking about.
I have like no energy.
What are we talking about next time?
The next 2 episodes.
Which are?
I can't remember what the next one is, but the one after that's the start of the
yes,
two-parter.
BTV Trinity.
Oh, we got BTV.
Yes, I had a whole thing talking about it.
Bernard.
Yeah.
I've had so many BTVs recently.
I know. I was like, we have 2 imminently coming BTVs right now.
But like, they don't feel the same.
I know.
And it's
BTV
sad.
Trinity next time, and The Long End, Part 1. I was tempted to do it like we do for 3-parters and albums, which we haven't been able to do since album 57, which is do the 3-parter all in one episode. But we'll also have to have the album review.
Do it sold camp.
It'll have to have the album review, so I'm like, we can't do that. So we're going to do part 1 next time with BTV Trinity. That's what we're doing next time. Until then, thank you for joining us on our side of YouTube. I've been Dan First and Lim Relsner. Does Whitsold Camp is gay?
Does it? I don't know. I can't understand the article.
And you've been watching
Does Whitsold Camp about Edwin?
And you've been watching The Adventures in Odyssey, Oddcast.